Da, 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 da. And boom. Well, hello there. I suppose this probably isn't the best substitute for a wardrobe, but I do think this outfit is certainly a little bit more my style. Welcome back to the Garden of Grind. Settle in, get cozy. We got stuff to do. With a fancy new outfit more befitting of a host of my caliber, let me be the first to welcome you, or to welcome you back to the series. And to my first major mistake. You see, I use OBS to record, and in my infinite wisdom, managed to fail to check which microphone was being used to record my audio. As you could imagine, this may have caused some really crunchy dollar store microphone sounding footage. Even better, I forgot to check for the entire recording session. I was going to take the chance to do some more live commentary and let the jokes write themselves, but you will unfortunately have to bear with me as I salvage the original audio or live dub over it to fix it. Sorry to break your immersion. Oh, wait, what was that you said, live audio simple?
Well, I just realized that, I wasn't recording my voice. So I will try my best in post to see how well I can recreate the shock factor I received when a dirt creeper ended up spawning in our little cage right there. Now that's great, because now we have a big sphere of dirt that we can do a whole bunch of stuff with.
And a whole bunch of audio I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of stuff to fix it. Thanks, Live Simple. Go ahead and feed the void again. Now, to avoid making fun of this mistake for longer than 2 minutes straight, sorry by the way, I simply had to, why was I so enthralled by seeing a brown pixelated creeper spawn in our dark box? Well, their return right on dirt, of course. Dirt creepers are one of 3 variants of creepers added by special mobs, not to be confused with infernal mobs, which actually create terrain rather than using the Control-X command on my platform and casting it into the depths of my void. The dirt creeper creates a ball of dirt, the gravel creeper sends falling gravel blocks everywhere, and the drowning creeper, the most menacing of all, creates a sphere of water encased in a shell of cobblestone and silverfish-infested cobblestone. Each one comes in a charged variant, which is even more potent, and each one has its use cases. But since at this point I would actually like to have a solid platform encompassing that 20 by 20 spawn area, my primary goal is to gather as much dirt as possible using the dirt creeper, but the other 2 will be needed soon enough. Of course, that also means we need to intentionally detonate specific kinds of creepers while avoiding certain others, which is not the easiest thing to do.
Oh boy, I've made a mistake. Much better. These two I don't really care about right now. Oh no. Yeah, I feared that would happen. Oh no. No, come back. No. All the dirt and gravel. Oh gosh, this is a travesty. Oh, for goodness sake, I just spawned there, please. Oh no, 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 no.
I was, at that point, pretty devastated. Most of my dark boxes had been wiped away. The dirt and gravel I had spent the past hour and a half farming fell into the void, and I wasn't quick enough to catch it. I couldn't place a block above me to stop the gravity creeper from pulling me in and exploding. All of that waiting, gathering, creeper gambling, and that one mistake cost all of it. I know I may be acting a little dramatic for the bit, but I was genuinely focusing on what I lost just then. Not everything I had done at that point. Of course, that's no way to move forward. Of course it's going to be challenging. Of course you're going to make mistakes. Of course things aren't always going to go according to plan. But that's why we persevere. Why we look back on what we have done and look forward to a better tomorrow. And that is exactly what I'll do. Oh, wait, this is a block game made for kids. Interesting how that happens sometimes, isn't it?
done it. We've done it. We've exploded a charged dirt creeper.
After, likely, way too melodramatic of a montage for getting dirt and the subsequent 23 straight minutes of digging, we find ourselves in possession of just a bit more than 13 stacks of dirt from the one explosion. This is probably the most excited I've been for what could otherwise be described as trash in my entire Minecraft career. To put that into perspective and to compare to the previous dirt creeper explosions, 13 times 64 is 832 dirt, meaning 832 fewer jumps into the void, or more likely, a dozen more of the regular dirt creepers if I were to just detonate them on my platform as I had been doing before. At this point, I'm currently sitting at about 7 hours of gameplay and nearly 300 on the death counter, so I am not joking in the slightest when I say that this is incredibly worth the pain required. And of course the future push-ups, trust me, I didn't forget. Now, that being said, the saved amount of time certainly helps, but obviously if I'm playing this mod pack, I don't respect my time anyways. Neglecting those in-game statistics, dirt. So much dirt. With everything we've gathered at this point, we can finally get a start on filling the gaps on our oh-so-beloved Swiss cheese platform, so that finally, we no longer need to worry about randomly respawning above an abyss. Thank goodness. Besides that, though, our goal is still to gather whatever drops we can, and just because one charged dirt creeper managed to blow its top does not mean we're out of the woods, and trust me, I certainly mean that only in the proverbial sense, just yet. In fact, the primary goal of this entire progression tier is to get those woods, but we still need some time, and I'll explain more later. The mobs I can farm, however, are always a goal. And although it doesn't make for very interesting content, their drops are something that I simply cannot ignore. The 1x2 mob cells have done a fantastic job at allowing me to safely, for the most part, farm mobs. So the surplus of placeable blocks I have will certainly go towards that first. Next goal would be building a proper mob spawner, one of the large boxes in the air that everyone and their pet hippopotamus would envision when hearing the term mob farm. Typically, that requires water, pistons, or some manner of pathing manipulation to get the mobs into some kind of drop chute or chamber, right? Well, the void contains neither blocks nor fluid tiles, so it's time to focus on our current drought. As I mentioned before, gravel and drowning creepers both have their use cases, and while I appreciate flint just as much as the next person, I want to take a moment to focus on the drowning creeper. You may have noticed me typing creeper in the search box provided by the Not Enough Items mod. No, I'm not spawning mobs in, though that does remind me that I should probably explain my self-imposed rules at some point. No, instead, I wanted to check for the Drowning Creeper's drop table, which can be done by pressing U on its spawn egg. There is a 1 in 3 chance that a Drowning Creeper will drop an empty bucket. Combining that with the rocky doom sphere of hydrated insects means that we gain access to water plus a method to move it. However, I must note that in this mod pack, water is not infinite, because of course it isn't, why would it be? that means we will inevitably run into a situation where more water is necessary, i.e. the steam age. But by that point, we should have better means of dealing with that problem anyways. In summary, 1 bucket plus 1 water ball should be the last 2 ingredients we need for our mob farm shopping list. Like I had done previously with the dirt creeper, there is a long wait to get drowning creepers to spawn while also getting the lucky bucket drop. That wait, as per usual, is filled with all sorts of hijinks and me getting my keister handed to me by the various mobs. Wait, what was that? Another montage? Oh yeah, you bet there's another montage.
Yep, there you go. Easy does it. Now go boom. Huh? Huh? Oh, those are explosive arrows. Oh, for goodness sake. Nope, nope, no. You're gone. You're gone. You are... Oh, gosh.
With the final montage of the episode finally squared away, thank goodness, the RNG toaster oven has finally finished cooking up our drowning creeper. You'll see in the clip that I was standing in disbelief because it had taken, I kid you not, 2 hours to finally have one spawn. I swear I managed to see every other variant of creeper spawn in those dark boxes except for the one I needed. Since I still technically needed another in order to complete my shopping list, I had to decide between detonating this one for the water sphere or trying to kill this one and hope for the 1 in 3 drop chance of getting a bucket that would be, for the time being, completely useless. You can see which one I chose here. By leading it over to its designated detonation drop-off destination, which I had built similar to the bridge now replaced by that of the dignified dirt divot, we can finally increase the relative humidity of our island by detonating our delightful guest. Of course, that comes with the side effect of now being inside the water sphere, and attempting to break out will come at the cost of being inundated with silverfish, which also have special mobs variants because of course they do. Defending myself against them will also cause their neighbors to join the beatdown, meaning I have to strategically find a way to escape my watery prison in one piece. This could best be summarized by the "you reposted in the wrong neighborhood" meme, followed by the cast of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Season 5 beating up that random civilian.
What I would say, not ideal. I'm gonna try and escape. I have escaped. I'm gonna put my stuff down so that I won't instantly die. Oh my gosh! I'm getting bullied.
What follows is a mad dash to retrieve my things while also dealing with the sphere of solid blocks, which, by the way, is now one of only 2 available locations for mobs to spawn. I was going to cover the rock in items in order to prevent mobs from spawning, but that's when I noticed a certain skeleton with aim akin to a stormtrooper with kaleidoscopic glasses shooting torch arrows at me. You had best believe that I took full advantage of this opportunity by farming a couple of stacks of torches for use later. Although realistically I could have kept going until my entire island was full, modesty. That being said though, I believe I have well and truly hit my limit for mob shenanigans and montages for the moment, so I believe this is as good a time as any to wrap up this episode. For those of you who are curious about the rule set of this challenge, I encourage you to stay after the outro for a brief explanation. Regardless, I sincerely thank each and every one of you for the wonderful support on the previous video, and hope to continue producing episodes you all can enjoy. While the frequency of uploads is still certainly up in the air, each and every one of you have my undying gratitude for pushing me towards keeping this project going. For now though, thank you. And until next time. Oh hey, good to see you. Allow me to explain the rules of this challenge. As a full disclaimer, Garden of Grind is not something I created, nor is it something I really helped develop. Multiple capable content creators, some of which being Neurotic Goose, Garden of Grind, yes that's his channel name, and Soy Cake, have attempted this as well, along with many others. Rule sets seem to vary pretty widely among various runs, such as banning other dimensions, setting the difficulty to peaceful, banning questbook rewards, setting a limit on the number of deaths, etc, etc. My rule set is relatively simple, go figure. First, no cheating. This includes game-breaking bugs or intentional abuse of exploits that would otherwise trivialize the game. Rule 2, every dimension is created as a void world. No blocks, no structures, no anything. Biomaps are retained though. I am allowed to travel to other dimensions, but they will all just be empty when I arrive. Third, the questbook is allowed, but I am not going to try and save scum for rewards. If I get cool rewards, great. If not, oh well, move on. And lastly, restoring backups is allowed in case of world corruption, but not to undo screw-ups on my part. The only exception I can see for this rule set is if I turn off mob griefing or fire ticking for the purposes of keeping my builds intact, but this is everything in a nutshell. As always, thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.